mind me. Welcome to another episode of Live 605, except it's not 605. It is 3:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. I'm your host, Con Kazantzidis, aka Shave the Man, and we're doing this because of lockdown. That's right. The world, as we know it, at least, has been turned on its head. Australia was doing reasonably well in terms of the getting on top of COVID and all the rest of it, and then until we didn't do so well. Anyway, welcome to another episode. I'm really pleased to see that you're joining us wherever you may be. It could be on YouTube. Someone's asking me to speak louder. Well, I don't know whether I should speak. How's that sound? Is that okay? And also on Facebook. Yes, I've put this up on Facebook on my own profile, as I always do. And of course, on the Stray Whisker page. Today I decided we'd have a little bit of a fireside chat. You might be wondering where the fireside is. It's here. Decided to bring in a candle and light it. This is as close as we're going to get to combustion and fire. So the candle will suffice. Otherwise, we'll be in all sorts of trouble if I start lighting fires around the place. If you're new here, type new below. Just gives me an idea on whether I should continue on or whether I should end it now. Whether it's just a vanity metric or whatever it is. Good afternoon, Paul. Yes, currently unlocked down. Yes, well, some very interesting developments in terms of how far and wide and rapidly this variant of COVID is. But I don't want to talk about COVID. I don't really want to talk about COVID because people are sick of it. I am fatigued. So what is it? Is this streaming in 440p? It may work. Maybe. I don't know. This is I think Facebook determines that. Although I've tried to max it out at 4K, and I think streaming capabilities. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I think it is. Why? Don't you like what you see? Look, I have to. There's a number of confessions. Firstly, I gave up smoking a pipe some time ago, but I thought I'd bring it in, seeing where it, in keeping with the fireside theme. Look, I'm letting my hair grow. Letting it all out. I'm going to grow my hair, get some streaks, foils in it, no less. I'm also going to let my beard grow. Yes, Starthy. Well, welcome. The Fars at No Extra. Look, yeah, I'm not making a statement. I just couldn't be bothered shaving today. Okay, there it's out. Some people like it, others don't. Others think that I should be non-shave the man. Anyway, but you'll be delighted to hear what I am drinking though is a double espresso, which is always part of the repertoire. And this is particularly nice. It's Colombian, Ethiopian, and spiced with a little bit of Kenyan. There was a local roaster, when I say local, I mean Australian roaster, that called that the Obama blend, spiced with a little bit of Kenyan. Anyway, enough of that. Fireside Chat, basically it's a free-for-all. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about, and if you don't have anything to talk about and it's crickets, then I have a few little things that I'd like to share with you about how I am dealing with this less than ideal scenario. It's one of those things that you've just got to deal with it. Life goes on. Yes. Anyway, as I said, if you're new, let us know. Put a new down below. I hope the sound scenario has improved. I mean, I'm quite mindful of bursting eardrums and all the rest of it. I do not want the sound to surpass the threshold of pain. Very distant. Thank you, Dave. Yes, well, I'm glad you like it. Hector. Maybe I should call myself Hector. Or Raul. Actually, I've got a Raul look. Don't go away. This is going to be my Raul look. Ready for this? How's that? Huh? You like that? What do you think? Huh? What do you think of that? Do I need volume now? Huh? Do I need a soundtrack? No, I don't. Enough of that. Enough of the silly stuff. Oh, there you are. My eyesight has deteriorated rapidly. I think after I hit about 40, it went downhill. And that to me means a lot, because one of the things that, I mean, we all need our eyesight, of course, but for me, it meant that it posed very specific challenges in terms of the things that I love to do, one of it being reading. So we will talk a little bit about some books. I've got some recommendations of books that I've been enjoying that may or may not be of interest to you, but I'd like you to share what you've been enjoying during this lockdown, if you're in lockdown. Otherwise, if you're not in lockdown, you've just probably experienced Freedom Day, and you are now free to do what people do when they're free. Also, a bit of a quick cheeky look at candles. Some people have asked me, what's with this candle stuff? Why are you getting into this candle stuff, Con? I mean, well, I'm glad you didn't ask. Let me tell you. It's part of the olfactory experience that I think that most people enjoy. They want things to smell nice. We want the house to smell nice. Your work environment, if it permits, things to smell nice. And so, yeah, always been a fan of candles. I light them and let them go for about 2 or 3 hours, and then I just, extinguish the flame. Try not to let candles go all day if you can. Some of them are quite strongly scented, and they can pose all sorts of problems if you leave them on for an entire day. So I think it's one of those things. It's another little secret of mine. Tom has been making his own candles during lockdown. Do you prefer material wicks or wooden ones? I prefer material. Having said that, of course, I know the wooden ones now, Woodwick and these other brands are a thing, but I'm not really, I'm just not, either way. The reason I like the material ones is that I can snip them, and I think you can do that with wooden ones too. Make sure that you see there's an interesting scenario that occurs with these candles. I don't know if you can see it. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'm going to extinguish the flame because I want to show you something in relation to candles. I know you didn't sign up for the candle thing today, but we're talking about all sorts of things, and it is a fireside chat, so allow me to extinguish. Yeah, where's the mirror ball? This is all kind of very groovy now, isn't it? I've got smoke, I've got this, a bit of that. What you'll see, what happens usually, if you're not careful, is you'll get this tunneling that occurs. I don't know if you can see that. You can see that there. Hang on. No. Can you see how it's kind of melted around and sort of tunneled in there? Yeah, that sort of thing. If I can come back into focus, yes. That is a common phenomenon that occurs with candles, and there is a way of getting rid of it or dealing with it. One of it, of course, is to keep the wick quite short, because you don't want a very, very tall flame. You want one that will melt the wax evenly. So I should have demonstrated by bringing this particular article in, but I'll just tell you, I'm sure you can use your imagination. What you would do is just take a bit of aluminium foil and just put it over the candle, and then punch a hole in the top, right? With chopsticks, okay? Just make a little hole and light the candle. And what happens is that it heats the aluminium foil, and that heat then transfers around the sides of the candle, and then it will hopefully, the idea is to melt, it will melt the wax on the walls of that, and you'll have even distribution. Anyway. Yes, we're into candles because we like things smelling nice. So I will get into the wooden wicks because I hear that they're wonderful. And on cue, we have Liam here. Crackle from a wood wick candle is amazing. Yes, I have heard, Liam. You romantic man, you would know. I'm sure he lights lots of candles. Time to hydrate. Let us know if you've got any tips or tricks with candles, whether you like them or hate them. They're everywhere now. Everyone's doing soy candles, poured, hand-poured candles and all the rest of it. And that's great if it makes your life smell a little bit better. That's fantastic. I will share with you one thing, though, in the store, and you may have seen this along. I mean, it's nothing unique, but it's something that I've looked at this and thought, okay, can I do this, for example, with shaving soaps? And that is, let me just show you. I have a candle here in what's called a cloche. This is a French word for bell. So when you want to smell a candle in a store, don't pick it up and stick your nose in it. I mean, obviously you're not, if during lockdown you're not doing any of that anyway. But what you do is you simply lift the cloche, the bell, and smell it. There's enough scent in that to give you a very good idea about what the candle will smell like. So there you go. And I'm thinking perhaps that might even be a good idea for shaving soaps. We have some shaving soaps that are quite robust in their scent. Maybe I can put them in one of those, and when people come in, they just smell it, and that's it. Okay, so what do we got here? Any comments? None. Okay, right. What have I been doing during lockdown? Well, I've been reading. There's only so much you can read. I was reading an article actually recently about someone who said that they can't read during lockdown because they get bored very quickly. It kind of makes sense. If you know you're locked down, then you think, I'm stuck here. This is a bit, is a bit, what do you call it? It's closing in on me. It's a bit claustrophobic. I want to get out. I can't do it. I can't read. But if you tell someone they've only got an hour or time is limited, they'll manage to cram in that reading. So, yes, we've gone from candles to books. Cameron, it's an interesting, yeah. So I think this tunnelling thing can be avoided, as I said, if you just let aluminium foil, chopsticks in the top, just cut a little hole in it, so it kind of looks like a donut, an annulus, and then you light it, and the heat will transfer and melt the wax evenly. Craig, I'm sorry to disappoint, sir. Shave Man is now into candles, yes. Also into books. There seems to be a bit of crossover between all these things, smelling nice and, In fact, I had a guy ask me, he said, what's with the candles thing? Man, come on, what next? What are you going to do, crystals and gift cards? Stick to it's all part of the thing, right? It's all part of it. Hello, Martin from the Netherlands. I hope you're well. I know there's been some weather there of late, which has caused an enormous amount of pain and difficulty for people. The world's going, is it just me, or is it just, okay, unless you're a billionaire and you're flying into space, the world is pretty messed up at the moment. Or if you're a Milwaukee fan, the Bucks won. What's going on? Is it just me, or is everything? It's a book, Matt. It's a book. Look it up. Okay, so what are the things that I'm reading? Okay, Tom, do you think creative people cram more than others as far as work, study, productivity is concerned? I do. But for creative people, that creative spirit or the muse or whatever you want to call it, Once You Fight the Resistance, which is a great book you should look at, the War of Art, I believe it's called, by Stephen Pressfield. Interesting book. Fighting. It has to come to you, right? But Stephen Pressfield, for example, says that you should just sit down, sit at your desk, and the work will come. Don't worry about muses and things rocking up, and it will work. Cramming, I think they do. I think they can, and they do it very effectively. It's an interesting one. Some people work really well to deadlines, for example, because that's what, by definition, if you're cramming, then there's a specified time that you need to do all this work in. And if you do it in that time, great. If you're running out of time, then you're cramming. So, look, it's an interesting one. Thank you, Craig. Never disappoint. Yes, all part of the thing. The world is mad, yes, and I just don't know how. There's a lot of uncertainty, but I mean, what can we do? We can just be there for each other. Ring friends, talk to people, reach out to people, even if they're not in lockdown, even if they're in a place that's seemingly safe in the world. There's always room for reaching out and talking to people. I think it's very important, and we keep saying it, that people's mental health is much more important, more often than not, than their physical. With physical stuff, okay, we know that can be quite challenging, but with mental health, that is critical. Look, I'm going to share with you a couple of books. These are not new books by any stretch of the imagination, but they're ones that I think may help you make sense of what's going on at the moment. The first one is by Todd Kashdan. Now, it's called Curious. If you can see that very well, Curious, there it is. And the thesis of this book is he wants you to discover the missing ingredient to a fulfilling life. One of the things about young people, children, is that they're curious about the world. If you're not curious, even as an adult, then I'm afraid you will soon become quite bored and need to be entertained. It's this whole need of entertain me, show me. What's the next thing? Show me the next best thing. Show me this, show me that. That, to me, demonstrates and illustrates a clear lack of curiosity. You should be able to do this work yourself. You should be able to be, as much as possible, of course, curious about the world. If you're not, then you're in this horrific, nightmarish state of stasis. You're just basically existing like a pot plant does. You've got to be curious. And there are a number of strategies that this PhD... I know why clinical psychologists need to say... I mean, he's a professor of psychology. Why he needs to say, he's a PhD in the title. I mean, I find this a lot in texts from the United States. It's almost like there's some sort of validation crisis going on there. But anyway... and so he talks about things like the rewards of relationships, friendships, sharing what you know with others, and that will quite often make one feel that you're, a little more fulfilled. Eric, g'day, mate. Hello, Eric. Nice to see you on the live. It's nice of you to join. It's really, really nice when people come back, kind of. But they might be coming back because of curiosity. Who knows? Anyway, the other one that I really enjoy, the other book that I really enjoy, is by Sam Kean, called Fire in the Belly. Let me see if I can get that. Fire in the Belly, on being a man. Parts of this book have not aged well. It was first published in 91. Do the math. But there's some interesting things in this book, in that one of the key attributes of being a man is to have fire in the belly. And by that, we don't mean to want to go out and, whack people over the head with an axe or whatever, like Vikings or something like that. But it's about mobilizing you, and actually ties in with curiosity as well, mobilizing you to do the things in life which you otherwise wouldn't do. And one of the things that he talks about in the relationships part of that book is, what do ladies want? Assuming, of course, that we're talking about a heterosexual relationship. And one of the things that Sam Kean identified was the key thing that most people want in a partner, in a man, is resourcefulness. In other words, this man can take a nothing situation and turn it into a something situation. And that fire in the belly is an attractive attribute that one may possess, and then presumably the person that's interested in that man will say, I like this guy. He's got that fire in the belly. And by resourceful, I don't mean the guy's loaded with cash. I mean, that quite often helps. But someone that, as I say, can turn nothing into something. Something which seemingly is nothing and turn it into a something situation. So taking a nothing situation and turning it into a something situation. That's Sam Keen, Fire in the Belly, 1991. You can see I'm sort of kind of dating myself here in a way. Look, there's a lot of self-help books on the market. It's actually a market now. It's a sector in the market. And a lot of them are very, very useful, but some of them can get a bit repetitive, and they start to sort of mirror each other, and you can tell that there's a conversation that one book is having with another. That's what happens in academia, I suppose. The other one, which may shock, surprise, or disgust you, is, okay, I'm going to say it. A Nietzsche reader. Art and aesthetics, morality, logic, epistemology, metaphysics, all those things that we hold near and dear to our heart, and of course, will to power. So it's a collection. It's basically a reader, of course, and it's snippets, fragments from the key writings of Friedrich Nietzsche, Eternal Recurrence, why I write such good books, why I do really good lives, why Tom Nash might still be watching this. Yes, I did. Okay, that's the stuff I've been doing, all right? Having coffee, reading. We could talk about stuff that's been streaming at the moment on Netflix or whatever, but I realise that because of digital rights management, stuff that's available here in Australia is definitely available overseas, but we don't get all the content unless we go through a VPN, which we don't do because we're law-abiding citizens. The other thing I'm doing at the moment is I'm letting this stuff grow for a little bit. Look, I could come back next week and have no eyebrows. I might shave everything off. I don't know. I might even have chest hair and all the rest of it. But I'm just playing this by ear. I'm using a beard balm as well. You might say, beard balm, come on, mate, what do you got there? Nothing. It's a little, this is by Nishman. If I can just get that in focus. I like this. It's like a white sort of shea, buttery kind of formulation, and it smells really, really nice. If you're wondering what it smells like Apsley from Trufford and Hill. Or I think St James of London did one called Sandalwood and Bergamot. Just beautiful, really, really nice stuff. Quite nourishing. It's great for the chin. And for other parts of one's face. I'm also keeping myself hydrated. And I'm not consuming too much alcohol. I've reduced all of that because I can find you end up spiralling. Right, do we have any other questions, comments? No. Are you enjoying any books at the moment? I like to go back to the classics. One, because they're readily available. Two, because you can get them through any number of means. You can buy them from really good secondhand bookstores. We have a wonderful one here, Reader's Heaven in Lithgow. And it's just, you have to read. And for people that don't like reading, I get it. I understand it. Read a page a day. That's it. Pick up a book and just do one page. And if you want to go further, stop. Just do one page. And if it inspires you in some way, write a few thoughts down and get into the habit of doing that. I think it will help. Now, of course, with literature and fiction, it's a totally different exercise. Yes, it's reading, but it requires a different form of attention. It requires you to be focused on different parts of the reading process. I do enjoy nonfiction slightly more than fiction, although I go through stages where I enjoy fiction more than nonfiction, because I think the non-fiction part of our existence at the moment is quite grim. Yep, The Way of Men by Jack Donovan. Nice. Oh, thanks for sharing that, Dave. Yeah, right. I'm going to have to make some notes and put them in the bottom there. Is this Utah calling? Wesley Allen, g'day. How are you? You probably never expected to see me on a live, but here we are. It's just that time of the day. And as I say, with what's happening. All right. I think my work here is done. I don't want to take up any more time than I should. There are all sorts of press conferences going on live. There are people that are celebrating the sporting events. I don't know how this Olympics is going to go. I'm just watching that carefully and seeing what's going on there. I'm also watching with great interest what's happening in the United Kingdom with their experiment, Freedom Day. I love you, my ball brother. Yes, Wesley, you are the man. In fact, if you haven't checked out Wesley's videos, you must see the one where he does well, I won't tell you what he does. I'm not going to say he mimics or impersonates. He does a really good job of an Australian wildlife presenter. We'll just leave it at that. AJB, nice to see you on the live. It's wonderful to see all these people on the live. As I say, this is not the normal time, but I thought I'd just, do my thing. I'm not going to ask you. Look, I tell you what. Don't hit the subscribe button. Why do people smack that subscribe button? Hit the subscribe button. I'm going to say that. Right? If you want to subscribe, you subscribe. Some people like to sign up for different things. Others don't. Con the Razor Hunter. That's the one. Yes, Con the Razor Hunter. Wow, I'll never forget that. It's been etched and burnt into my mind. So yes, I'm not going to ask you to subscribe. I don't know if we'll be here in the next whatever. No, I shouldn't say that. We will be here. We will be here. Anyway, candles are a thing. They'll add some beautiful olfactory goodness to your life. Don't burn them all day. Let them go. In fact, okay, one thing I will say before I go. When you get a new candle, light the thing and let it go for about 4 or 5 hours. Extinguish the flame. Let it cool down. Trim the wick, light, and then let it go for 2 or 3 hours, and all this joy will enter your life unexpectedly. That's it for me. We'll see you in the next live. Bye-bye.